What's going on, everybody? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with another cheeky little stream for you lads and lasses. We're back here this evening just for a bit of a chinwag, really, bit of a chat, discuss the latest evening news, day's news of Manchester United, etc. We're going to cover it in this show tonight. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining in the chat, guys. We've got Ollie Khan in here, Madhouse, Outlaw Torn, Abano, Wanda, Aaron, Kingslayer, Woody, OG, Stephen Noakes. What's going on there? Connor Walsh, how you doing? Disco Dave, get in there, lad. And everybody else who's in the chat as well, welcome in to you all. Hope you're all good. Do us a favour at the start of this stream. Smash that like button on it. Give us a massive thumbs up. You know it makes sense. Share it around wherever you want as well. We've pinned the link to the top of the live chat there. Aaron's put it in there. Give us a repost on Twitter if you want to do that. That'll help us out. Nice one. And of course, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Get yourself involved. It's a fully interactive show. We're going to be getting in and out of the live chat, dipping in and out throughout the show. So get involved and have your say. Must Play, welcome in. Stay Gold, Natalia, A. Maya, Thugger, Duncan. Everybody, welcome aboard the Bacon Express today, guys. Nice one. What seems to be the problem? Well, I mean, crikey, that's a rather broad question. If you're talking about Manchester United, my first guess would be a lot. There's a lot of problems at Man United, evidently, by the way we play, the gulf in ourselves between the likes of Manchester United and City. There's a big gulf in class right now. Of course, we have got injury problems. There are other extenuating circumstances, but the reality is we're just not a top side anymore. We're subpar. We are subpar. We're down there, guys. We're like Hodgson at Liverpool or something. It's that sort of guff. So we obviously are looking to try and do something about it. There's a lot of stories coming out today all over the media suggesting that Erik ten Hag is basically already lined up to be sacked off in the summer by Ineos. That's pretty much the story of the day. If you look around, various different outlets reporting that that's the case, that Ineos are looking into replacements already for Erik ten Hag, and that there's a strong possibility that it will be curtains for Erik ten Hag at the end of the season. Hello there, Mike. Hey, thank you very much there, Atkins21, for the super sticker of the Red Devil. Get in there, my son. Come on, GGMUs, my lad. Love it. Thank you, Atkins. Let's get some love in there for Atkins. Thank you so much there, dude. Stay Gold. Yep, okay, fair play to you, Stay Gold. So he's getting in here raw, and he says ten Hag out, Potter is coming in. Could you imagine if Potter is the replacement for Erik ten Hag? I can imagine that. I do think that, yeah, it seems like he was a potential candidate that's been earmarked by Ineos. Ineos are obviously looking to do new things in the summer. So I think they were prepared to give Erik ten Hag a fair chance. They've seen what he's done last season, which was good. This season, not so good. In fact, we've been playing absolutely le gash-tastique, as Thierry Henry would say. It's very, very gash out there from us in terms of style, in terms of quality, in terms of signings, in terms of recruitment, in terms of just everything. It's been pretty pitiful this season. So I think they gave him a chance, but yeah, he's still here at this moment in time. If he goes on a miraculous run, maybe they'll give him another chance. But as of right now, they're definitely thinking about the possibility that this United side doesn't improve between now and the end of the season, that we don't get top four, and that we finish with a goal difference in the negative. So if that's the case, any of those things happen, then obviously the situation can change. But I certainly think that the writing's on the wall for Erik ten Hag at this moment because of a couple of big reasons. The team is just playing awfully, to be fair. It's not playing particularly well. In that City game, we played quite well for what we tried to do. It was still gash, wasn't it? 3 shots throughout the whole game to their 27, 24% possession. This is sort of where we're at. Teams like Brentford could go there and get better results and better performances and get better stats than that. So what's going on? Very concerning. That's all I'm saying. And then obviously the overall ethos of Ten Hag is not really translating out onto the pitch. We're not seeing any sort of quick transition football or fantastic attacking football or dominant football, any football with any sort of control whatsoever. That's a big problem. We've also got wanky personnel in the team, such as, players that probably shouldn't be here much longer, who are representing Manchester United and have done for years, and it's not Ten Hag's fault, but they're shite and they need to go. And in the summer they'll go with hopefully Ineos injection of ideas and also maybe being a bit ruthless, just sacking players off and also bringing new players in. You should see hopefully a big change in personnel. But because of how we're doing, because of what's happened previously with the Glazers running the football club into the ground, if Ineos are in control of this football club, which supposedly they are, what they will be doing is overhaul of Manchester United from the top down, really, which is perhaps the manager, will be parting ways, coaching staff. We're already seeing lots of rumours and murmurings about Man United signing backroom staff and different people to improve jobs, other than sort of coaching or playing staff, but things like recruitment, all that sort of stuff that they're trying to look into to improve. Because of this, there's a mad overhaul going to be happening in the summer. They're going to be getting rid of a lot of guff players. They'll probably be getting rid of Ten Hag. We'll see a new manager. We'll see an injection of hundreds of millions of pounds worth of signings, hopefully, in players, which means that it's unlikely they're going to want to spend that money on Ten Hag, because obviously he's failed to convince with the signings that he's made. Some of them have been great and other ones have been absolutely gash. So you can't give that man a war chest of 300 million in the summer and say, hey, mould this squad in your image, because if you do, you're going to end up with a squad filled with a load of Dutch Kojak looking melts. You can't do it. So I think the change is imminent, really. Adrian Morris, thank you for your super chat here. Adrian, nice one, Adrian. Big up yourself. He says, hello from Manchester, Piggy. Hope you're well, kid. Getting in here from Manchester. Mad for it. Adrian Morris, thank you so much for getting in here, you beautiful man. Let's get some love in there for Adrian as well. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay, but who's going to replace Ten Hag, you say? Stay Gold says, Potter's better manager than Poch. Word to your mother. Well, yeah, Pochettino, I personally think is just a bit of a melter. I agree with you. I think he's done some decent things in the past. He's a smaller club manager. He's the sort of manager that does suit a Southampton or a Spurs. But Spurs, I don't care what anyone says, they're not a top side. Never have been a top side. And certainly under Pochettino, they weren't a top side. They were just a side that, perennially got into the top 4 positions and did get to a Champions League final, but they still don't win anything because they're shy. That's Spurs. He did well with Spurs, to be fair to him, but it's not like he ever won anything with them. He's just a perennial loser. Even managed to shit it ultimately at PSG with a team full of absolute worldies in a Farmers League. Pochettino is not the answer, mate. I'm with you on that one. Big Sam says ours. Big Sam Allardyce. Big Sam. You what? Precisely. So my problem with Potter here, Disco Dave, is that he failed at a big club already, a club that was in a position of turmoil, a club that was in a position of change, a club that had a lot of overpaid, overhyped prima donna meltbags in the team, underperforming, and he's gone in there and he shut the bed, lad. So it doesn't really fill me or inspire me with confidence that Potter would be the guy to turn it around. Don't want Potter. Yes or no to Potter, guys? Yes or no to Potter? It's a no from me, Carol. Thank you, Vutinator, for the likes tally. We've got 56 likes on the stream, everyone. Keep hitting the thumbs up button if you haven't done so. Help us get to 100 likes. Thank you so much there, boss. Hello there, Luan France. Welcome in the streaming legend. Gaming Simp, get in there. We can't afford to sack. Well, I don't know. I mean, what's the ultimate sort of amount of money that you have to pay? He's got a few years left on his deal. What is it? 10 million, 12 million, 15 million golden handshake, whatever it may be. I mean, it's chump change when you consider sort of the amount of money that they'll spend in the summer on players. I don't think they will be sticking with him just to save a few quid. Maybe right now, they don't want to do that because, well, it will cost them money right now. And what's the point when there's still time left in the season? He's basically playing like an interim manager role already for us, in a way. Potter in, says Stay Gold. No, definitely no. No. Gregory says hard no on Potter. No. Well, I hate to tell you guys, but as of this moment in time, and you've got to take this with a pinch of salt, obviously, but at this moment in time, Potter is the favourite to be the next Manchester United manager. Sick bags at the ready. Sick bags at the ready, guys, because that is the case as of right now. It does seem that that's the case. If we have a look at the next manager odds, I'll just pop them up on the screen. So this is in order from most likely to least likely here. This is the top 8. And Gareth Southgate's in 8th position. Fuck my life. If that was to happen, I might as well go and start supporting FC of United of Manchester, to be fair to those guys, because that really would be an absolute travesty. Roberto De Zerbi, again, good coach, doing well, but again, step up to a huge club like Manchester United, that's some serious pressure. Not having it. Don't think he's the right fit. Notable candidates in here, Tuchel, who's free in the summer. Don't want that ventriloquist-looking melt, to be honest, so you guys know. He can go sit on somebody's knee with their hand up his back and feed him lines, because I'm not interested in having that melt to manage us, to be fair. Zinedine Zidane is an interesting one. He's one that's potentially been picked out by Ineos as somebody that could come in. Again, I don't want him because of his unproven nature in regards to going into different footballing cultures as a manager and turning things around with a bunch of overpaid, overhyped prima donna twat bags, all way worse than they actually think they are. So it's all well and good going into Galactico side at Real Madrid, a team you know and love, and take over and win multiple Champions Leagues and do amazing things. Can't deny what he's done. It's incredible. But good luck trying to do that with this United side, because we're shite and we need a massive overhaul. It takes a different sort of grit and rebuild and determination, I think. It's not just a simple case of, oh, I'm Pep Guardiola and I've got fucking luxury players. I just get whoever I want when I want and I only manage the best of the best of the best of the best. Lewis Hamilton and a fucking Ferrari or whatever. No. This is a case of, we need somebody who's got the bollocks to rebuild this team, basically. Don't say Rooney. Don't say Rooney then, Hector. You're off your tits, lad. Love Rooney. What a guy. Love Rooney. But no, I mean, he's not got the managerial chops whatsoever to do this job right now. Not many people do. But as you see at the top of that list, I mean, I think Amorim, he's a young manager. He's got some potential, but what a step up that is for him. Inzaghi is a prime candidate with the successes that he's having, obviously, this season, and he's a prime candidate, big name. But Potter, at this moment in time, if you go and check out all the bookmakers, he is the most favourite manager to replace Erik ten Hag as the next permanent United manager. Yeah, that's right. I said sick bags at the ready about 5 minutes ago. Now you've got full permission to vom. Now you can vom in the sick bag, because that is absolutely disgusting news, isn't it? If that was to be the case, I mean, it doesn't mean that he's going to be appointed, but at this moment in time with the bookmakers, he is the favourite. I'm not going to be happy about that, guys. I think that'd be a piss poor appointment. Yeah, he's all right as a bloody little seagull melter at Brighton, doing all right, different sort of vibe. Good owners, good foundation, low expectations. Piece of piss, mate, compared to a job like that. There's loads of managers who have done great jobs at smaller clubs to a decent level. It's about trying to get that extra few percent at the very top level that only the elite can handle. That's the difference. Think about some of the great coaches that have come and gone over the years of the Premier League, whether it be people like Brendan Rodgers, right? Brendan Rodgers, great coach in regards to what he did previously, at clubs like Swansea and stuff. But when he gets to the top level, when he's at the top level there with Liverpool, fucking bottle job, lad. Because ultimately doesn't have that proper winner's mentality, doesn't have that extra little oomph and desire, the vavavoom, as Thierry Henry would say. Don't know why I keep quoting Thierry Henry tonight. He's a twat. Actually, I do like Thierry Henry these days. He's one of those guys. But either way, he's one of those guys back in the day who you just despised. But now, you can't help but admire and respect. And him on that show in America with Micah Richards and also what's-her-face, Kate Abdo. Hey, very good, very, very good chemistry. Anyway, what was I going to say? Michael Carrick in 4 years' time, fair play, I could see it, but again, not now. Rushmano, he says, Wayne Rooney can't even talk properly. Little bit harsh, but true. No, to be fair to Wayne Rooney, he's got a lot of passion, I think, in the game still. He wants to coach. He wants to manage. He doesn't have to, but I think he's obviously looking to continue in coaching and management. Fair play to him, but he's not going to get a top job at this moment. You might get a job, kind of like the Birmingham City job, where there's just a team who's looking for a bit of PR. Maybe he's prepared to take a punt, but it didn't work out too well for Birmingham City, did it, in that instance? So, yeah, don't see that. Obviously, Michael Carrick's way off as well. He actually did do a decent job as United interim for 3 matches, and then obviously he's done a good job at Middlesbrough, but now Michael Carrick's probably not the answer for the job right now either. I think you've got to go and get somebody who's really proven candidate for the job. But out of all of these people that are on this list, and the list doesn't stop there, I've just got the top 8 there because otherwise it just gets a bit silly. But beyond that, you've got Hansi Flick, you've got Nagelsmann, Jose Mourinho, Michael Carrick, Eddie Howe, Conte, Unai Emery. I mean, Unai Emery is very down that list. I think it's because of the fact that there's a good chance that Villa are going to do well for the remainder of the campaign. He's doing really well at Villa. He's settled, obviously. They could get Champions League football. He's not going to leave a side that's going to be playing in the Champions League next season for the first time in years and have a really positive campaign to go and struggle at Manchester United and, have to do all this work. So I just don't see that really materialising. Xabi Alonso's on the list as well. Very unrealistic. He's obviously got those Liverpool links with what's happening with Klopp at Liverpool, leaving at the end of the season. Not the most realistic that you could see Xabi Alonso coming here anyway. Plus, he's ex-Liverpool scummer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's on this list again. Do we go with Ole for a second time around? I mean, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Ange Postecoglou's on the list. I mean, this is where it just gets really silly. So, the most likely candidate is Graham Potter, guys. How do you feel about that? It's actually pretty disgusting, I think. So, I wouldn't really be happy to sack off Erik ten Hag to get Graham Potter. I'd be happy to sack off Erik ten Hag if we're guaranteed to get one of the best managers in the world right now. But Graham Potter isn't that. Graham Potter is a decent mid-table sort of manager who's had some successes previously and then shat it at Chelsea. He's not that. So that would be a crazy appointment. It would just be bizarre. Seagull merchant, exactly, Stephen. You know it, exactly. He's a seagull merchant, lad. He said, sack off. Yeah, what do you think I said? What do you think I said? Conte? Well, again, Conte's got some chops, doesn't he? He's got the ego, he's got the chops. Is he the sort of guy that's going to leave you in a good place in a few years' time or even be there in a few years' time? He's a very volatile sort of manager. He's a passion merchant. He's very volatile. I don't know. I don't see it being that realistic. Well, okay, you know my thoughts on it, guys, if you've been watching the stream lately. Like, Ancelotti is the daddy. He's the godfather. That's the one, because he just goes from club to club and builds and has successors and takes over sometimes struggling situations with a lot of players who are big egos and gets them winning and gets them playing well and gets them winning. So he would be an ideal candidate. But again, he's not even anywhere near the top of that list because it's just ridiculously unrealistic. Why would he come and do that right now? Nice one, Luan. We've got 86 likes. Nice one, guys. We've got 237 legends watching. Welcome into you all tonight. Thank you for joining the evening show. Yes, do us a favour. Hit that thumbs up and help us get to 100 likes here. That'd be awesome. Thank you, Luan, for the tally. And get yourself subscribed so you can chat and have your safer out as well. Get involved. Hello there, Jarvis Cocker. Yes, mate, you legend. What's happening, Jarvis? He says, why isn't Ruud van Nistelrooy a potential candidate? Great shout. Great shout. Yeah, I mean, interesting. I mean, I guess it's, again, similar to some of these other coaches we just discussed that have previously played for Manchester United, you know, the likes of the Carricks of this world, where they've got obviously some good managerial chops, him at PSV, and, you know, got some good managerial chops, but in regards to what they are, you know, where they are as their status, they're just not ready, I don't think. Ruud is a melter as well, says Stay Gold. I mean, bit harsh. Gary Neville, I mean, Gary Neville would be an awful appointment of Manchester United just based on the fact that he's just not interested in management. He's not a manager. And when he went and managed Valencia, he absolutely shat the bed. So, he hasn't got the track record. It takes a special sort of a fellow, I think, for this job. It's a heck of a job. The most pressure-laden job in football because the situation and the environment is actually tough to manage in, yet the expectations are that of a title-winning side every single season from the board, from the fans, from the media. So there's always this massive pressure to be Man United manager. It's gonna be tough for whoever it is. Sean Dyche comes in there as a new United manager. Interesting. Great shout there, the goat. Yes, if he could take a moment from breaking from eating worms from the garden, mate, maybe he'll pop in there. Luke, thank you for your super chat, by the way. Luke CX, thank you for your super chat. Luke, he says, hi, Piggy and Baker Brigade. Is it me or are there not as many top-level big-name managers in the game like we had in the 90s and noughties? The top leagues also seem closer to each other. The top leagues were definitely closer to each other back then, I think. I agree with that. In regards to the top managers, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just think that there's a lot of the top managers are kind of occupied right now. But there is a lot of top managers, isn't there? The likes of Guardiola and Mourinho and Klopp and, there is a lot of top managers, but maybe you're onto something there. I mean, maybe you're onto something. Yeah, you're thinking Jose Mourinho all day long. K Cadet, it's horrible. You can't go back. It's like once you've broken up with your ex, mate. You know, you don't go and dip the wick again, mate. You know, you've got to keep that clean break. Saying that, Jose Mourinho is kind of the guy to do that. He has come back and managed Chelsea, obviously, before, after being sacked off one time before. So you've got to say it's possible. In terms of his achievements and the sort of manager that he is and the big ego, he can maybe change things around for a struggling team like Manchester United in a short amount of time. Give it Cantona to end of the season. I don't know about that there, the Kettle Witch. Have you seen Cantona and his singing? I don't know about that. He's too busy doing like some sort of awful poetry recital, you know what I mean, on stage and calling it music. I don't know. Listen, I love Eric Cantona. What a legend. Unbelievable footballer, great human being, decent actor, great actor. You know what, though? Music, not for me. It's not for me, Carol. Each to their own. That's what I say, though. It's completely subjective, isn't it? But for me, Cantona's music reminds me of some sort of hybrid between Bjork, Yoko Ono, and Justin Bieber. It's just, it's awful. It sounds absolutely horrendous. But fair play to him, you know. Fair play to him for living his dreams and doing what he wants to do and unleashing that creativity. I respect it. Rushmano says, no chance these players are going to leave if Eric leaves. Hope people realise this. Right, great shout. So, let's just talk about this for a second then. So there's a lot of discussion that there's players in the United dressing room that are just sort of resigned to the fact that Erik ten Hag will be leaving in the summer and that he's going. And he will no longer be the United manager beyond this season, so why should they even give a shite anymore? Are they just going to down tools? Have their heads gone? People understand that, you know, Ineos are potentially looking at replacements. This could just be a gash-tastic, awful season where we just peter out now. It already has been, but you know what I mean, the rest of the season. And the players just down tools. We'll find out about that. But I don't think half of these players, at least half of them, I don't think half of them will actually give a shite. That's the sad thing. I don't think they give a shite if Erik ten Hag gets sacked off or, you know, that they finish 7th or, you know, I don't think half of them really give a shite. Half of them probably understand that they'll be going soon and that they're just sort of surplus and they've managed to steal a career at United for a good few seasons, getting huge cash. And hopefully a lot of them will be moved on in the summer. United need to have like a mass clear out in the summer, don't we? So just like not 1 or 2 players, but 10. And then sign a whole bunch of new fantastic players as well with character. And the key things we should be looking for signing players in the summer is not just, have they got skills? Have they got attributes on the pitch? Are they fast as fuck? Whatever. We want to be looking at, do they have the right mentalities? Are they battlers? Are they characters? Are they people who want to fight? You know, that's the most important thing for United. We need fighters in this team who are prepared to drag us forward, not a bunch of melters who, no matter how much skill they've got, to go out on the lash and don't turn up for training or can't be asked to train and get sacked off out the side or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of big problems that we've had from egos and we don't need them. Yeah, exactly. A prerequisite, they should have to have no Instagram followers, mate. You know what I mean? Nice one, guys. We smashed 100 likes. Thank you, Vutanata, and thank you everyone who's hit that like button on it. Beautiful. We train too hard. He makes us run too much. So there is a lot of news as well. Yeah, reports suggesting that we talked about this yesterday. Samuel Luckhurst suggesting that some United players were not happy, at least, about the sort of training regime and the amount of running and work they're made to do. And perhaps that is an agitator for the injuries that we've been getting this season, because we have received a lot of injuries, way more than usual, really. Loads of players are injured. Is that a reality of Erik ten Hag's training plan? Who knows? But yeah, maybe that's a factor. If you ask me, these lazy bastards in our side need a proper kick up the arse, and they probably should do a lot more. But we'll see. Just on the old managerial thing then. So yeah, as I say, look, Ben Jacobs and various other reporters and outlets are sort of highlighting Zinedine Zidane as a potentially high candidate as well, as we discussed. Again, it's not really the one for me because I think we need a different sort of manager who can rebuild. But apparently Ineos are very, very interested in Zidane. I mean, Zidane is a big name manager. I could get behind Zidane in this. That sounded a bit wrong, didn't it? But, you know what I mean? I could get behind Zidane being appointed as Manchester United manager because there's not that many really great clear candidates, if you ask me. At least with Zidane, he's got that record at Real Madrid where it's almost incomparable for the short amount of time that he was managing there to have that much success. So if you're just basing it on that, wow, you've got yourself a heck of a guy. He's obviously an amazing manager for Real Madrid in that time. But is he the right guy to change things at United and manage the egos and all that kind of thing? I mean, he's probably not, but he does bring with him like this sort of this shroud, this presence. And he's also the sort of guy that would be able to attract the top name players, I think, to United. Like big players would be interested in playing for Zinedine Zidane at United, wouldn't they? That's the sort of appointment it would be. So it's like a huge name, big reputation, already got loads of success, but there's a slight risk because he doesn't have that proven ability managing for different clubs, and he doesn't have the proven ability to come in and rebuild clubs, or even like Premier League experience, anything like that. So it would be a bit of a punt, but it's less of a punt than a lot of the possible options that we're discussing. Also, more reports here from Rob Dawson, ESPN, and various outlets suggesting that representatives of several managers have approached Manchester United due to doubts over Erik ten Hag's future. The club has not held discussions with candidates. So at this moment in time, it doesn't seem like there is anybody being lined up for an imminent replacement of Ten Hag. He's probably going to be here to the end of the season, and he will get a chance, I suppose, to go on a miraculous winning run. But unless he basically wins all the games that are presented to him now, between now and the end of the season, he's probably going to get sacked off. That's the reality. And at this moment, the club are looking at different candidates to potentially come in and replace him because they've got a plan ahead. If it does continue down the path it's going down, and they may have already made that decision anyway based up to now, that he's going, but if it does continue down this path, he is going to get sacked off. They've got to put provisions in place to be able to appoint somebody sharpish after Ten Hag is sacked off final day of the season, basically, if that's the case. So yeah, they'll be talking about replacements. They'll be looking at different managers, but at this moment in time, as I say, Graham Potter is the favourite to be our next coach. Which is garbage. Also, a little bit of news here about Dougie Freedman. So there's an expectation and different reports coming out, taken with a pinch of salt, but there's reports that Dougie Freedman will be become Manchester United's head of recruitment as well, joining from Palace. So, I mean, this is quite interesting. Looks like, obviously, Ineos are putting things in place here behind the scenes, getting, different people to come in to do jobs that we desperately need them to do, football people who have track records of doing things and in football clubs. So, just some positives there, guys. I'm not going to dwell too much on that, obviously, because it's just a behind-the-scenes sort of speculative story at this moment in time. But it's possible, United are getting people in behind the scenes already. So it's definitely a possibility that they're thinking about sacking off Ten Hag right now, yeah. Okay, so yeah, quite disappointing really at the moment. Berber says, honestly, I can't be asked to watch these same players. If they sack another manager, why should I watch them play? I don't care about them. They're arseholes. Great shout, Berber. Yeah, a lot of them are. I mean, I've got to say, I think a lot of these players at Manchester United still do have the potential and have a good future at the football club. But there are a handful of players that are just toxic arseholes, like you've just said, mate. Players who have not carried a badge well. Either they're not good enough or their mentality's not good enough over the years. And you don't see consistent enough, good enough performances where they really battle hard enough for Manchester United often enough. Yeah, I think that's fair. There's a bunch of players we can pick out that are just not good enough for United. There's another bunch of players that are really, really committed and look to have bright futures. But a lot of them are the younger ones, aren't they? A lot of the senior players they're not really doing it. A lot of the younger players, yeah, we've got great potential in Garnacho and Dallo and players like this and Kobe Mainu and these sorts of guys. Obviously, nobody's talking about getting rid of them. But in regards to some of these senior melts, yeah, this is where the problems are occurring, mate. We've had real subpar performances from the likes of Maguire and McTominay for many years. Not necessarily this season, they've both done okay, but for many years. Martial and guys like this, and, if we're being honest, players like Victor Dwindloff really aren't good enough. And just many players beyond that. There's a lot of, obviously, underperformers, and then we've got, obviously, new players that have come in that are also massive underperformers and look shite, like Anthony Dos Santos or Mason Mount. Oh, it's shite, isn't it? You're right. We need 10 players gone. We need 10 players gone anyway. Once Potter loses a few games, the fan base will turn without doubt. And he probably will as well, because that's his track record at Chelsea going to big club, is shitting the bed. Gary O'Neill, interesting sound dog. I mean, interesting. Well, look, young, good English manager. And I think he's only 40, isn't he? But he's doing really well. He's obviously not going to be the next United manager. It's just too much of a crazy step up. It's not the appointment. But there you go. Tony Snooker fan, evening to you, my friend. Ratcliffe can't get this wrong, sacking another manager after 12 months. Hey, what's up there? 0793. Oh, you best believe that. Lillis says this Melt player will sack all the coaches in United. Absolutely. Would I take Kevin De Bruyne? I'd take Kevin De Bruyne out for a nice seafood dinner and then never call him again, mate. But if you're asking me if I'd take him at United, I mean, if he wasn't a City scumbag, then obviously he's one of the best creative players around. So yes. And he seems like a nice enough guy off the pitch. The only thing I don't like about him is he's a Manchester City scumbag. That's the only thing that I don't like about him. Otherwise, seems like a good guy, seems like a great player. Obviously a great player, but he is a complete Manchester City scumbag. So because of that, no. But let's just say, I don't know, something crazy happened like overnight. Manchester City finally get punished for their breaches of financial fair play and their outright cheating. Everybody knows what's going on with you and your money laundering, gas-tastic cheating ways, and you're gaining in advantages. But if let's say they get found out and they get fined and they get punished and they're relegated to League Two, which this isn't going to happen anytime soon, but let's just say that happens, and De Bruyne becomes available. Would you take Kevin De Bruyne at Manchester United? Yes, you would. Don't even need to answer it if he was available, and because you would. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, it's a stupid question, but yes. So, sub 2, get in there, you City scummer. What's happening, lad? Jason Chapman, welcome in as well. Rashford only signed that deal to guarantee him staying at United on big money. No one else will take him and pay his wages. So Rashford's probably the most infuriating player I've seen play for United, certainly for the last couple of years, and that's saying something because we've had some real frustrating players. The reason it's frustrating is because we know what he can do. You saw that in the game against Man City the other day, the best of the worst. That majestic strike in that first part of the game there, giving us the lead, was absolutely mangasmic, and then he goes and proceeds to shit all the rest of his few chances that he has. And then not only that, rather than just stay up and show some sort of resolve and strength on your feet when you're at the top of the pitch there and can hold the ball up, or even take the ball towards goal and try and have a chance, what does he do? He just falls down, dives, looks for the easy foul, and it cost us a goal. So he completely undid all the good work that he did in the first part of the game. The guy's a shitter, lad. He's having a shitter this season. It's very, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing for the lad. When a player leaves a rival for your team, it should be welcomed by fans, not looked down upon. Depends who and how and why and when, doesn't it? You know what I mean? It does. I mean, it does depend, but yeah, fair enough. I mean, fair enough. There's certain players that you would not want to have come into your side. There's other players that you'd be absolutely overjoyed to have come into your team. But yeah, if City don't get relegated, then it gives the green light for corruption to exist in our game. Spot on, agreed with you. Rashford's better off with philanthropy. Get him out, right? Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe politics or whatever is his forte compared to the old football pitch right now. Berber says Rashford can go to PSG and learn what abuse really is. Their fans turned up to Neymar's house 10 times. Yeah, that's a fair point, man. He's got it easy here compared to that. Shite. Crikey. Rush Marley says we need to move out. Shaw, Maguire, McAverage and Rashford, it's clear. Either not good enough or injury prone. Yeah, or either good enough but not the right mentality. That's it. You've either got to have, like I've always said, at United you've got to have talent and the will and desire to work your hardest and be the best you can be. You've got to have both those things. But certainly, if you've got one or the other, it's enough to get you by, but it's certainly not enough to be a United player. You have to be a very quality player, but also have the right mentality. Otherwise, what's the point of having all the skills if you can't translate it onto the pitch? We've seen that many a times with players like Paul Pogba or whoever over the years. What's the point of having the abilities if you don't have the right mentalities? 129 likes and 258 watchers. Thank you, Jason Chapman, mate. Get in there, you beauties. Thank you, everyone, for joining. All right, we're just going to get into the live chat here for a bit, guys. A little bit of a late-night Q&A here, yeah? Quiet sort of a day. I mean, there are some discussions, obviously, about different managers coming in, etc. Here's the next manager odds. I'll pop them back up on the screen just for a bit of fun. Graham Potter is the favourite at this moment in time to be United manager. We're going to get into the live chat for a Q&A now. About anything you want to discuss United-wise, have your say, get involved, subscribe so you can comment and get involved, and have your say. Let's get stuck in. Drew Stone. Okay, those are all homegrown or at least English players. You'd almost have to replace them because we're running out of foreign spots. You what? Okay, I see what you're saying. So all those gash players that we want to get rid of, right? You'd have to replace them. Well, you could just promote from the youth to a degree, can't you? And there's still some good homegrown English players that we'd obviously want to keep. But I think, yeah, a lot of those players that we've just discussed here that Rush Marlowe's put on here, they might be homegrown English players. But what's the point of having a homegrown English player on your side if they're just shite? So I know what I'd rather move them on, take a chance on some youth, sign a few foreign players, whatever. But, also just get rid of them even though they are homegrown players. Who cares about that? I mean, obviously, there's certain places in your side that you need to have enough homegrown players. But, yeah, you can make up the numbers, surely. Go and sign another English quality player. Why can't we do that? Why can't we go and sign a quality English player? What's that all about? Is Mason Mount still alive? Nobody's seen or heard from Mason Mount in a very long time, mate. Mason Mount, in my opinion, is still on holiday. He's currently on a Hawaiian island in his mind. Ever since he signed that deal at United and got that £60 million move, he's checked out, lad. I don't know. Never thought he would really amount to much at United, but he's done even worse than I thought he would, to be fair. I guess it's sort of partially not his fault. The team's been shite, and also he has had injury problems and stuff. But what an awful signing that's turned out to be. Let's just rate that signing out of 10, guys. You know, it's now March. I said this in the summer, it was a shite signing, but let's just rate this signing out of 10 now, guys. 60 million quid, and he's done what he's done, and he looks like he's going to go on and do what he's going to go on and do. How do you rate it? Next coach will be Southgate. Definitely not, mate. If that was the case, then, you know, I think I'll go start supporting FC United of Manchester, mate. Iceman says 2. Blurry Face says 0. Duke of Rodtown says 0. Yeah, it's very bad, guys. Very, very bad. Very, very bad. Very bad for Mason Mount signing. Awful, awful signing. Malassi is still alive. Yeah, good question about that as well. He's been out injured for a long time, isn't he? Hardcore Gamer -10. Mount has legged it. Oh, definitely 2 at most. Yeah, okay, so very disappointing signing there. Mason Mount, some of the signings from Ten Hag in general quite disappointing. They probably won't put much faith in him in the summer and stick with him and invest in him and give him loads of cash. Well, Ulster, I love your mentality here. I do. And you're right. You are right in the sense that obviously it takes a lot of time to rebuild. It really does. And look at Klopp, look at Fergie, those situations. You're absolutely right. But I don't know if we've seen enough this season to really suggest that they should go out there and put all their faith in him for the rebuild. I don't really think so. I don't think so. He's lost me a little bit. It's an accumulation of things. It's just a few months ago, I would have said that he can definitely turn this around, and he's a good coach. And look at what he did last season. But we've seen quite a lot of dodgy stuff from him lately. The team's rubbish. The team's playing sus stuff. -2 goal difference. All the rest of it. I can't accept that level at Man United, whether it's him or anybody else who's the manager of Manchester United. I can't accept that level. I understand why that level might also be worsened because of big problems at the football club other than Ten Hag. But even in spite of those problems, a manager of Man United should have this Man United side after spending a few 400 million, and having the players that he already had. He should be capable of getting this United side in the top 4 with the positive goal difference. That's kind of the bare minimum for me, you know, at this stage. So if you don't do that, if you don't get top 4 and you don't have a positive goal difference, you don't at least play decent football along the way, well, you failed then, haven't you? So he is actually a bit of a failure at this moment in time because we just aren't a good team, in spite of those problems that we've got. Kate Cadet exactly says, look, nobody wants to sack managers, guys, but it gets to the point where enough is enough, and with Ten Hag, we're getting to that point. Yeah, we're getting to that point, aren't we? I mean, the hierarchy at United have not swung the axe yet. He's still here. They've not sacked him. He's still here. If he goes on a mental run now and shows great football and great managerial abilities between now and the summer, they might give him a chance. But I agree with you, Kate Cadet, man. There comes a point where you just got to say, probably not the best idea we spunk another few 100 million on this guy and then allow him to continue after such a mediocre gash season. Luke, thank you so much for the super chat here, Luke. Let's get some big love in the live chat there for Luke CX. Go on then, my son. Thank you, Luke, for having your say, mate. Appreciate you. Top man Luke, he says, how much confidence do you have in the newly established Ineos structure to bear fruit in the long term? In the long term, I mean, I do have a lot of faith in it, actually, compared to the shitty previous regime, because at least they're going to try and do things quite differently, and there will be a new approach. And we know that the old approach was terrible. I can't see how it can get much worse. I mean, maybe be careful what you wish for in that sense, but I think that, you know, it seems like they're going to be trying to appoint football people to do football jobs, and it looks like they're going to invest in infrastructure and the team. And if they do that and get us in the right direction, then yeah, long-term things can obviously be a lot better at Manchester United than they are now. Fundamentally, we're always going to be slightly shackled because the Glazer shithouses do still have that stranglehold of the football club. But as long as they don't actually have any control of how to run the football club, then they're just like, you know, any other big fat cat head of a corporation melt who doesn't do any of the actual work. So that's only it's if the football club is being managed properly within the infrastructure in the club that exists there, which doesn't have anything to do with fucking the Grazer rats anyway, then things can flourish on the pitch. So yeah, I think that it's going to be better for us, but who knows really? Only time will tell. Careful what you wish for, eh? Cheers for that, by the way. And Disco Dave getting in here, lad, with a super chat. Thank you, Disco Dave, my son. He says, I lost confidence in Erik ten Hag when he chose Anthony and Mount over a proven goal-scoring Kane. We wouldn't be -2 goal difference and probably be in a good UCL position. Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, obviously you can't really say necessarily that it's Erik ten Hag's fault, because surely the recruitment team, the club of Manchester United are looking at that deal, and it's not just down to Ten Hag. Surely Ten Hag would have wanted him. I still believe, I know he said in the media that he was happy with who he got, Højlund and all this, but I still believe that he would have been interested in Kane. Although, so I don't blame him for maybe some of the problems with signing Kane, but then he also, like you say, we did sign Andre Onana when we had David De Gea already at the football club. We spent 50 mil on him. We spent 60 mil on Mount. Well, that is enough to buy Harry Kane. So if you've got that much pull and you're that dead set on who you want to bring in, then you could have signed him. You know my thoughts on it as well, Disco Dave. That's what we should have really done. We should have tried to sign one of these other midfielders that went elsewhere cheaper, the likes of James Maddison or Ward-Prowse, and we should have signed Kane, and we shouldn't have signed Andre Onana. We should have just given David De Gea a new deal. It's easy to say these things in hindsight. I mean, we were saying these things not in hindsight, though, before it bloody happened. But to be fair, now it's easy to say that, but I think it's true. We would have been a lot better off without these new signings, and if we'd just stuck with De Gea and maybe spent the money elsewhere, like getting a proper proven world-class goal scorer in. Not that Højlund's not got mad abilities, because he does, but obviously it was always going to take a time for him to transition into a Premier League player and get that sort of experience. Cheers for that, mate. I appreciate it. He says we wouldn't be 2 goal difference and probably be in a good UCL position. Yep. Ten Hag deserves another season for me. Give him structure and then judge. Interesting. Well, okay. So it's March now. Let's see if you feel the same way end of the season. And let's see if I feel the same way about him going into the season. Like, he's got the luxury of he's not getting sacked before the end of the season, I don't think. It looks like Ineos are putting provisions in place to look for a new manager just in case he shits the bed and they have to sack him off. They might have already made that decision. But, I still think as he's still here, if he goes on a tremendous run, there is a percentage chance that low percentage chance that he could still be Man United manager next season. So yeah, he could well be if he goes on and shows that he's actually not a complete bottle merchant rest of the year. Don't forget about your gaming channel, Piggy. Right, yes, we are doing a stream tonight at 1:45, which is a gaming stream over on the gaming channel. Guys, come and join us at Flying Pig Gaming in a bit. We are going to be on there. Ineos are Glazers with fresh paint. Maybe. Time will tell. We'll see. Can't see how it can be any worse. But the grass isn't always greener, is it? Luke says, I seriously doubt that Spurs would have sold to another Prem team no matter the price. I don't know about that. I mean, they obviously didn't want to sell players in the past to other Prem sides, but they did. Maybe they chose to do things differently, later on, which seems to be the case. Yeah, definitely. But there are a lot of examples of them even selling to us. But yeah, fair enough. In recent times, they have looked to sell their big exports, so abroad, the Bales and the Bales of this one, and the Modric's and stuff like that. But you know what? I actually disagree. I think if money talks, bullshit walks. If you paid £20 million extra than what Bayern Munich were prepared to pay, they would be fools not to take that money, I reckon. So I think yes, you would have had to pay a premium. You would have had to have convinced them to sell them to a Premier League side, but. Look, there would have been a monetary limit, a monetary point where they go, you know what, fuck it, let's sell it. Of course there would be. Money talks, man. Now, I'm not saying it would be a fantastically valued deal at that price, but you could have made it happen. Levy was bargaining. It's like there's a lack of cultural understanding. He's playing shite 90s style Dutch footy, boring. Most of our passing and possession stats are buffed up by defenders laterally passing on halfway. Yeah. Style-wise, it's abhorrent, lad. Yeah, recently it has been pretty poor, and you see how we actually go up toe-to-toe with the big sides, and it doesn't look good right now, man. Should have got Kane, Mbappe and Zidane last summer. Well, that's wishful thinking, but would have been nice. Levy was adamant that we wouldn't sell Kane to a Prem club. Yeah, but as I say, there's a monetary value at some point where it becomes worthwhile for them to sell. If you think that, 130 million wouldn't have sweetened the deal enough for them to say, I think you're off your head. I'm not saying it would have been worth us spending that, but there's a point when it becomes undeniable for them. Is McTominay better than Amrabat? Probably, yeah. Amrabat seems decent, but has he really done enough to warrant like us going to get him permanently? Guys, would you keep Amrabat? Would you buy Amrabat? Or would you let him go back and sack him off? He's not really done enough to convince me just yet. He's a decent player. He represents good value in the transfer market these days. However, it's just another sort of player who's come in and looked kind of average. McTominay probably better, mate. You guys are forgetting about FFP. Amrabat's useless. I actually think Amrabat's a decent player. I do think he's good. I kind of feel a little bit for him because he's come into a struggling team and he's been utilised in different positions that aren't his main position. The guy's a central midfielder. So I actually think he could be a really decent player. I do. I think he could be a good player for us, but he's not looked brilliant this season for us. No, he's not really looked very good. But he could be a decent player. He's on loan anyway. Yeah, it's kind of like a try before you buy. And based on how he's looked, yeah, you probably wouldn't want to buy. Release him into the wild like a hedgehog. How many hedgehogs are you releasing into the wild? But that's what I want to know, mate. Why have you got them in captivity in the first place, mate? Jason says sell Piggy. Fair play. Kane would have jumped to United 150 million. Should have done it. Well, in terms of spending what we spent on Onana, Mount, Anthony Dos Santos and stuff, we could have found the money for it, I'm sure. Rumours Ten Hag will be a goner. United keen on De Zerbi. Would have to pay 12 million to get him. Again, De Zerbi's one of the candidates. Yeah, he's like fifth favourite or something. I don't know. Actually a bit lower than that at the moment. But again, not a manager that I really want to see take the reins, because although he's got good experience here and he's doing good things in the Premier League and playing excellent football and, signing good players and having to, sell a couple of players and still keep the club progressing and playing good stuff, he's doing well, but different beast to be United manager. It's a different beast. Fair play, Ryan. Well, I don't know. I think he looks like he's just joined a struggling side and isn't being played in his favoured position. He isn't Premiership quality, says Nectar. Everyone has a price. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, taught me that. Ted DiBiase, what a legend. Yeah, you don't want De Zerbi either. I'm not keen on De Zerbi either. Poor Amrabat hasn't been given a proper chance. Yeah, no, that's fair. Let's actually give him to the end of the season before we properly judge him, I suppose. That is fair. Who would you want if Ten Hag has gone? Honestly, I'd want Ancelotti, but that's not realistic. Out of this list, so here's the question for you guys. Yeah, let's ask this question. If you could only choose one manager from this list, and this isn't like a total list that has all of the candidates on, but let's just say it was from this list. Who would you want it to be from this list here? Honestly, out of this list, I think I probably would take the punt on Zinedine if he was available and wanted to come, just because of his previous successes. Now, I do think there's a risk, obviously, with the reasons I said earlier about him not having Premier League cultural experience and not building a team up from being a gash position and just being a Galactico luxury manager. But even so, I think I would have Zinedine. Tuchel, oh, no, don't like it. Ten Hag, says Pepal. Zidane, says Mohamed. Tuchel. Zidane, so he can headbutt all of them. Inzaghi, well, that's a great shout, Marshall Jack. Yeah, obviously very successful over in Italia. Eric Ten Hag, Ollie. Oh, goodness knows, Ryan. Goodness knows, mate. Zidane would headbutt Rashford. Inzaghi's getting some love here in the chat, Zidane, Inzaghi. Nagelsmann. De Zerbi, Simeone, Oli or Ten Hag, that's it. Ten Hag, Zidane, Nagelsmann. Stick with Ten Hag, fair play. Well, listen, guys, we'll see what happens. Ten Hag's still here. He has the chance and the possibility to still have this job come next season if he does well for the remainder of the campaign. He could just, obviously, he's on the chopping block right now. He could obviously play himself into the position where it's just he has to be sacked. If we fail against Liverpool really badly, if we finish 7th or 8th with minus 10 goal difference, you can't really defend that level of performance, I don't think, with the players we've got, even though some of them are egomaniacs and gash. Your job is to still get the best out of them. And you signed half the players in the team now as well. Not half of them, but quite a few of them. You could just select youngsters or other players and manage those and get the best out of those if the egos aren't doing it. There's other options. So I'm not happy with the overall management. Let's see if he does better. If he does better, great. If not, then see you later on in the summer, Ten Hag. But there we have it, guys. We'll find out. It's a shocking list there, Rushmano, to be honest. It is a shocking list. We'll find out like who could be the next potential manager at United. It's up in the air. We'll find out in the summer. Anyway, guys, right, we are actually approaching the time for the gaming stream. So I'm going to have to wrap this stream up now, but it's been a fantastic chat. It really has. Thank you, everyone, for getting in the live chat. Abano, Rushmano, Malps, Disco Dave, Lillis, Hardcore Gamer, Ravens, Blurryface, Rushmano, all the mods like Don Berber and Vutinator and everyone, all the members, thanks for watching and supporting the show. You can come back after this video is finished, get your thoughts and opinions in about United's next manager. Who would you like to see come in? Once this video is finished, do have your say. We'd love to hear from you. Bit of a slow news day, but we'll keep you up to date with all the latest goings on at Manchester United, so make sure you subscribe to this channel, Flying Pig United. Click the bell icon for notifications, and you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and Kick at Flying Pig United. I'm just going to go over here now, guys, and play some FC24. So come and join us here, guys. FC24 stream right here. In literally 2 minutes' time, we're going to be starting. So come and join us. I'll pin it to the top of the live chat. Get yourself involved. Get yourself involved if you want. And come and hang out with us, guys. But yeah, 150 likes on this stream tonight. Thanks everyone who smashed the like button. Thanks everyone for watching and having your say. Thanks Pete Morris, Must Play Timmy, A. Meyer, Joseph Philippe, Lillis, Must Play, Abano, Blurryface, Disco Dave, Vutinator. Legends, guys. Luke CX, Outlaw Torn, Blurryface. All the legends and all the legendesses. Thanks for being here, guys. That's it from me. Go and check this out, though. We'll be back over on the gaming channel in a minute. There's the link right there in the chat. You know it makes sense. Go and subscribe to Flying Pig Gaming. It's a different channel. We stream FIFA and gaming over there. Go and subscribe to Flying Pig Gaming. I'll see you on the next one. Once again, thanks all mods. Thanks all members for supporting the channel and being here and having your say. Great chat tonight, guys. Thank you very much, Nectar, Timmy, Ulster, Cake, Luann, Natalia, Ryan, and everybody else. About 5 minutes, Ryan will be on the gaming channel, lad. Yeah, 5 minutes. See you in a bit, folks. Catch you in a bit on this link right here. Stay classy. And remember, Piggy loves you. Also remember, when the seagulls follow the trawler, this is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.